Testy, testy. Testy, testy. Is this thing on? Testy, testy. Is this thing on? It's on. Let's get it on. There's a wireless, wired mic. How's that for technology? Is that fancy or what? Whoa, holy smokes, a bunch of degenerates in here. Swamped with degeneracy right off the bat. I haven't even got my coffee ready. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome to the La Rata waiting room. I got nothing. I got no content. It's just snowing outside. Nothing to do. So I figured I'd come bother you guys. Who's ready to get bothered? Who wants coronavirus? Let's see here. Let's see what we can do here. Yeah, this there. What's happening? Lots going on the YouTubes, yeah. Get off a top chat. All messages. Let's blow up the chat here a bit so I can see you. Less. Dad's in the house. Oh yeah, we gotta. Yeah, let's do some shit here. Let's talk amongst yourselves. Yeah, see? Ooh, Tweaker coffee is almost ready. All right. Dead Air B. How about that dead air? Like I said, I got nothing. Ooh, coronavirus. Ooh, coronavirus. Yeah, who wants actual content anyway? Just buy me a coffee, see? And Dad's just like, light that cigarette already. I need to smoke. All right, we're gonna do the environmental conservatorship thing and reuse this paper coffee cup. Something about coffee in a paper cup tastes good. I like it. All right, what's going on? TweekFest 2025 here. What are you guys doing? What's some out of use here? Tags here. Welcome, welcome, Justin. Yo, Dad's in the house. Your mom was a pseudo radio personality. Ooh, that sounds interesting. 2 minutes of dead air, and she would have gotten killed. That's pretty nasty. Well, fortunately for me, suppose I could get fired by YouTube. I don't know. Guess that could happen. Has anybody ever gotten fired from YouTube for dead air? Mr. Osgood in the house. No soccer count today, buddy. Oh yeah, radio is different from YouTube. Do they still have radio? Is that still a thing? I don't know. I don't get out much. I think they still have radio. Yeah, so answer me this. So I got my my wireless receiver here. So this, I charge them both, the receiver and the transmitter. And I use this, I forget if it was the last time I did a live. Did I use a mic last time? Anyways, this one has, since whatever, 87% charge left. And this one had like 23. How the heck does that work? A dull moment on, yeah, there's lots going on YouTube. There's some beefs ramping up. There's some legal determinations coming about potentially. I think Brother Chili's in court today. Was there a decision? Did the cross dresser in the black dress make a decision there? I haven't been following much of that. Federal court, man, big time, lawsuits, big money, $200,000 coke parties, allegedly. I'm down on that. I'm down for that. Never claimed to be a good YouTuber. I barely claim to be a YouTuber. Brandon's in the channel. Brandon is skulking around. It's a nice tweak mic, yeah, Shay. See, it's wireless. It's wireless. Mitch is going live at some point, doing stuff. Todd and Finkel are planning to be friends or something. I don't know. There's Bow's tweaking out, promising coke parties. I'm just sitting in my mobile tweak shed here because it's snowing out. I've been struggling with that dang Ferd. I can't get any signal to the confuser. The PCM is not talking to the ignition. And I'll just give you a quick update on that. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this. I got to do an OBS stream one of these days, so I could show you stuff. Screen share. So you're going to be able to see the starting circuit a little bit. So let's see. Got the wiring diagram here. So here we got the ignition switch. Then it goes to some fusies. And then it goes over here to the digital range selector in the transmission, which is internal. It's not external on this torque shift transmission. And then from there, it's supposed to go to the starter and all the other bits that crank the engine over. Well, actually, no, from the range sensor, it goes to the computer. And I'm not getting signals from here to the computer. Now, I've been trying to track down open circuits, testing all the fuses, testing all the relays. Hey, Jody, welcome in. Trapped in a vehicle I can't smoke in. Oh, no. Well, do your best, buddy. And so I've been trying to chase down anything. I'm kind of just guessing at stuff now, but then it occurred to me where I probably need to look is the wireless entry and wireless starter. This duty here, because that, from what I understand, it's a Ford component, but correct me if I'm wrong. I think in that year, those were installed at the dealership rather than from the factory. And I used to have an immobilizer in that truck because where I lived in Manitoba, we had mandated immobilizers for a period because that make and year and model of vehicle was at risk for theft, high theft risk. So they put immobilizers, or they made people put these aftermarket immobilizers in. And when I bought this vehicle, I yanked it out and then just bypassed because we don't have that mandate anymore. You're not required to have an immobilizer to register or insure your vehicle. And so the immobilizer was in series with the wireless start, which was in series with the whole starting circuit. And so I yanked the immobilizer and then rehooked up the wire because I still wanted the wireless. But I'm starting to suspect, because I'm running out of clues here, that it's a Ford component. Like Ford doesn't make that stuff. It's probably made by Bosch or somebody, or Siemens or who knows what. But it's installed, again, from what I believe, at the dealership. So it's wired in there by a tech, and then they ship it. So I think I either lost a connection in that module, because I'm not ready to condemn that PCM. And no, I'm not making that up. It's some tweaky thing that the provincial government mandated in an effort to reduce vehicle thefts. So basically, I don't know if I have the old fob here, but you would get, there was one shop in town, and they pretty much did all of the immobilizers. You had to book an appointment, bring your vehicle in, leave it there for an afternoon. They would install the thing, and then you had to buy a little key fob, like a security fob, and there was an antenna around the cylinder of the ignition. So as when that key fob registered with the antenna, that would tell the immobilizer to activate the starting system. Now it was easy enough to bypass those. I can't remember exactly how. I'm not going to tell you how anyway, because it's kind of irrelevant. They're not required anymore. Most modern vehicles come with some form of immobilizer with the chip keys and all that boogity woogity there. But these were aftermarket jobbies, and because they weren't required anymore. It was like for a period from 2010 to 2018 or something like that, and then they stopped requiring it in order for you. And if you didn't get the immobilizer, you couldn't register your vehicle. And that insurance plan for vehicles we had back home, it was the only game in town. Like you couldn't go to a different insurance provider. Like It's the only way to register and put your vehicle on the road, unless you went the SOV sit route and then just do whatever the hell you want. But that's the story of the immobilizer. It was a thing, and so I had yanked that back in 2024 or whenever, the spring of 2024, when I first got the vehicle and got it running because I didn't need it, and the thing's been running fine since. Other than these mechanical issues I've been dealing with, those are all more or less done, ready to go. Other than I have to reassemble everything. I'm digging around all these wiring harnesses and sensors, trying to find either a short ground or a bad ground, and I've just kind of run out of ideas. So I think the next plan of attack is going to go under the dash, go find that wireless entry unit, and see if something there went either disconnected or that module is faulty. Other than that, maybe it is the fuel injection control module or the PCM TCM, which is an integrated computer. I have spares of those, the FICM and the PCM, but I don't think they're here. I think they're back home. And I'm planning to go back to Manitoba next week. So I'll probably end up renting a car unless I can sort this out. But since it's snowing today, actually it's kind of stopped snowing. Today was just kind of a laundry day and YouTube day. So I figured I'd see what kind of shenanigans we could find in the chats here. So it seems like plenty of shenanigating going on. Oh yeah, everything's mandated. Your mandate, like mandates, I guess, are for slaves, and we got pretty much a slave society here in Canada. So actually, where I am in BC, they have like it's known as Public Insurance Corporation. It was the Manitoba Public Insurance Corporation back there. Here it's ICBC Insurance Corporation, British. Those are in those two provinces. That's the only option you have for vehicle insurance. Uh, and I mean, it's not like private insurance would be any better, because I mean this is part of the scam too. If the government doesn't want to make a law uh, taking a freedom away or making a legal activity illegal somehow, they'll just work hand in hand with insurance companies, and insurance companies will say your policy is void unless you have this provision or whatever. So the government uses corporations to get their agenda or their will done anyway. So that's sort of a new world order concept, I guess. But yeah. Right. So that's the update on the vehicle. That's the update on the wireless wired microphone. I think it's working good. It seems to be good. The new headset that Bal's got is shit. I don't know if it's the Bluetooth or what. The thing just doesn't seem to have some good connectivity or something. Or maybe just setting the audio settings, but that's trash can juice, man. Not that I've got it together, but I think you were scammed, buddy. So what's Jody up to? She's just bothering all the men folk here. Give them an inch, they take miles and miles and miles. Yeah. Yeah, like I say, it's not even the government. They work with the big corporations. So if they can't get something written into law, they just call their buddies up at the insurance company or the banks and say, why don't you guys make a policy making it impossible to use your service or product unless the consumer abides by this provision. And you're like, yeah, that sounds good. Much better. I mean, I found the iPhone mic is pretty decent anyway, but I guess it depends on the space too. So I don't know if it was echoey or just hollow sounding, but this, you can get the mic pretty close. So it should sound a little crisper and clearer. Why is it wired? Because I don't want the battery to die out. This, as I explained earlier, the battery level on this unit, the receiver, yeah, just do some stream sniping there, cat. Don't fester my microphone. The receiver was almost fully charged since the last time I used it. It was at like 87%, but this thing was down to like 23%. So I'm just, and this plugs into the iPhone, so by a cord. So it's wireless, but not wireless. But these two are Bluetooth. The receiver and transmitter talk to each other. They're connected. I'll have to see. I don't think I can get the transmitter to connect via Bluetooth. Maybe I just didn't. Maybe I should have gone into Bluetooth settings or something. I don't know. Whatever. It works, but it's not technically wireless if there's a wire running to it. So this is just to charge the battery. So I got this plugged in because I was only at 23% and I already unplugged some charger here. All right, this phone's charging. This one, yeah, it's all good. Shay, Daly's here. Welcome in. Welcome in. All the Smurf Watch scals and scalettes. I guess everybody's as bored as I am. And so we're doing laundry today, seeing as it's just snow and miserable out. I'm not going to be crawling underneath the dash, getting snowed on. We're still looking for Nancy. I haven't seen Nancy around here. Maybe Granny will show up, but I have a feeling that she's yet another victim of the internet. Yeah, Lorata's here, she. But that's about it. What's going on with you guys? Place is a filthy mess. At least we got coffee, we got smokes. Who else has been doing stuff on the internet? Oh yeah, I should book that rental. See if they got a charger with a headliner that looks like the carpet of a daycare center or something. Like what? You guys seen that? You guys ever seen a charger with a headliner that looks like a tweaker installed it? Because they stole the curtains from a daycare center, or what is that? That's what I need to do. See if I can rent a charger. That would be lit. Yeah, it's my stream. I got nothing. Let's see. Found a little bit more Shining material. Remember The Shining, Wendy Theory? I didn't realize what it is. It's a bit of a rabbit hole there. But yeah, I think I mentioned last time, like, the Wendy Theory is not too popular. I don't use Reddit, but from what I understand, if you go on Reddit and you go into these shining subreddits, you start bringing up the Wendy theory, it's like you're gone. Zero tolerance. There's some definitely gatekeeper activity going on around The Shining. You gonna end up sued? Who's gonna sue me? The Shining? I don't think anybody's suing nobody. But yeah, definitely a whole gatekeeping movement around the people that like to analyze that film. It's quite weird. That's kind of a bit of a red flag right there. Breakfast for dinner. Ooh, that sounds good. Breakfast tweaker burritos. Sourdough waffles with some cheese and cat butt. Eggs, syrup, strawberries, pork rinds. Sounds lit. Yeah, that'd be Pepper showing off his butthole to you guys. I think somebody, yeah, it's just talking about nothing. It's the show about nothing. Max is here. He's he's just maxing out. He's maxing right now. That's what he does. And just glowering at me for some reason. I don't know. You went for like 5 walks today. Just tell me what that expression is. What is that? I think you overheard Bao talking about eating dogs on the stream earlier. He's just a little paranoid, I think. He's a pretty sensitive dog, so you can't talk about eating. Must have got triggered or something. I think somebody asked me the other day if I was losing weight. I found a scale in my storage trailer, and I'm the same weight I was at the beginning of winter, so I haven't gained or lost weight. And I've been eating crappy food. So. Show about nothing will get me sued. By who? This is the show about nothing. These pretzels are making me thirsty. Copyright. Is that copyright bullshit or what? Does that sound like a scam? Or does it sound like as a big of a scam to you guys as it does to me, that copyright stuff? I think it's a scam. That's just my hunch. There's something a little scammy going there. People getting sued, especially suing other YouTubers, lawsuits, defamations, and copyright strikes, and copyright infringement, and intellectual property. It's a little scammy. There's no scams here. The only scam is if you're silly enough to buy me a coffee. I'm going to go buy coffee with it. Pinned link in the chat. So yeah, that's kind of the plan. If I can't get that Ford fired up, say the end of the weekend, I'm just going to go down to Kamloops, rent a vehicle, hopefully a Charger, hopefully with a Tweekadelic headliner, and make some miles towards Manitoba because there's some mail I got to pick up. There's a driver's license renewal coming up. There's possibly some other paperwork I need to deal with. And sure, well, yeah. Like, what do you think I'm going to do? Buy Pyrex and baking soda with it? Buffering? What are we buffering for? Are we still live? Did we lose it? Kind of losing it. Looks like potato vision here. Must be slow internet. We don't do fast internet here. It's nice and slow, see? Let's see what's going on. Yeah, it's good and slow. 5x5. Okay, well, I guess I'm running my laptop and the upload off the same phone. I got this other phone. It works fine on its own, but I have a hard time connecting the laptop as a personal hotspot for it. So don't know what's going on there. All this tech. Maybe the tech bros can help me out. Thou shalt not unalive anyone, the other day. Yeah, well, I guess that's the YouTube 10 Commandments. Thou shalt not say words that YouTube deems unwordable. Did you guys hear about the gun person? We had a mass shooting here in BC a few days ago, and there was a gun person that was involved. So apparently there's gun people up in Canada now. It wasn't a gunman or a gunwoman, it was a gun person. So, whatever that means. Oh, I know. I mean, they were trans. That's why. Yeah, the school shooting by the gun person. So yeah, very tragic. But everybody livid about it. Yeah, getting livid about stuff is kind of, that's so 2015. I don't know if there's anything to get livid about anymore. I mean, other than hating Ryder. Oh, it's the 13th though. There's a 3 in it. So we love Ryder today. Ryder's the best. If there's a 3 in the calendar day, the Ryder's cool. On days without a 3, we hate him. That's a policy on this YouTube channel. But yeah, getting livid about stuff is kind of a dated concept. There's nothing worth getting livid about anymore. Unfortunately, I wish I could stir myself up to get livid about something, but I just can't. Can't do it. Can't do it. Not gonna do it. Being livid is a scam. All right, so we're done. We're done with the Ford diagnostics. We let that thing take a rest. I have not seen the Canadian Preppers channel, so I can't comment. But there were some people around the resort here that had a little bit of a livid edge to them, and it was coming out in their speech affectations, and you could see the blood was starting to boil over stuff like this. And sort of, you know what? Getting livid is not the solution. So, livid on YouTube is content. Yeah, I guess you gotta pick my words here. I don't want to start any beefs. And we're just gonna set this aside and get it ready. We're not gonna light that up here. Is it fake livid just for clicks? I suppose I could do fake livid. Like I said, that would take a lot of what do you call it? Mental labor or a lot of emotional labor. I don't know if I could work myself up into livid over pretty much anything at this point. So, this is all a scam. So I guess if you're not livid and acting livid, well, there's a problem with that. And if you're livid and really livid, there's a problem with that because then you don't realize everything's a scam. Gus, for my craft, you've got a point there. Although I would have to identify what that craft exactly is. Like the craft at this point is shitty non-content. I mean, and I think I'm doing that well. Like I'm kind of mastered that. I guess if I wanted to expand my craft, my repertoire, but that would take this channel in a whole different direction. I don't know if we're prepared to go in that direction at this point. You know, in enlarging the scope of the quote unquote craft. Let's just see. Let's just see the old studio dashboard. What's this channel been doing in the last week? I haven't checked on it in a while. Because we had a goal for subs for this year. Forget what that goal was. I should have written it down. We wanted to get a certain amount of subs. So I'm curious, where are we at? Well, this thing's probably going to shut down. Dang. Dang. Oh no, there we are. All right, we're at 487 subs. So how many we're supposed to have? I don't know if I believe these analytics. Let's see what the analytics says. The dashboard page, I never trust that. So YouTube is a little scammy in case you haven't noticed. So I don't know exactly what the scam is, but for the most part, it has all the earmarks of a premium scam. Yeah, 487, there we go. All right, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think that was the goal, 487. I wish I could remember this stuff. But to all you new subs, welcome in. And my question to you is, are you sure? Are you sure you know what you're getting into? But what it is people are still watching that Andy Edwards reaction I did like last year, like this time last year. Like that's still, it got 38 views in the last 48 hours. Like people are still watching that thing. And that was awful. I mean, not awful by my standards, but awful by, I guess, human standards. It was top notch by my standards, but people are still clicking on that video. That Andy Edwards, I'm riding some serious coattails there. Oh yeah, and I reached level 5 in Friends and Codes stream the other day, so deal with that, right? Right, buddy? Stagecraft, witchcraft, shitty non-content craft, Mitch Lovencraft, yeah. Mars Life Craft. So Mars said he was going to go live. I haven't. Well, let's check the old YouTube homepage. What else going on YouTube? What else go? Oh, we got a new police chase here from T-Lights. Have to watch that. Where's that from yesterday? No, that was Mercedes in Europe, run from the police. Ooh, Generally Specific is on. Ooh, Todd is streaming. Well, maybe we should just go watch Todd. No chili updates. Yeah, there's nothing on YouTube. Just people pretending to be livid. That's about it. Just another livid poser here. Yeah, just a bunch of folks. Just can't let bygones be bygones. They gotta be livid with other YouTubers because that's the meaning of life, I guess. Silly Wabbit's tricks are for hoes. That's Generally Specific's title. So. Oh yeah. Well, I guess he's been like Bal was talking about this at the end of the stream, right? So we got so that's supposed to be Ryder and the Angry Vet, and then Todd and Finkel have the remote trigger for the bear trap in this AI generated thumbnail. Should I do AI generated thumbnails? I don't know what I'd do. Well, that's a pretty fine generated AI generated thumbnail. That's good work, guys. Keep up the good work. We need more of you. Who's Andy Edwards? That's what I said. Exactly. What's the matter with you? You're the only one talking sense here. Oh yeah, it's like conjuring up Beetlejuice. I think you have to say it like 3 times though. But who knows? Maybe Mitch will stumble his way in here. Oh yeah, I chased everybody over to GS's stream now. Yeah, who is Andy? Yeah, that should be a stream right there. Who, in fact, is Andy Edwards? I actually saw really good. I think I linked to it in a previous video. The on The Shining, or not a previous video, a previous live. I forget if it was last weekend or I did a couple lives last weekend, I think. And it was a documentary by TweekStream Media. That's Aaron and Melissa Dykes. Aaron Dykes used to be on the InfoWars staff, and then when Alex Jones started getting extra livid, I guess he took off. So there's probably a whole backstory there, but they started their own platform on the interwebs, and on YouTube it's called TweekStream Media, and they did a 2-part analysis of The Shining. And in part 2, it was focusing on the management of The Shining. And there were ties to all these elites going back to Birmingham, England, of all places. And that's where Andy Edwards is from. So I think there's a story to track down there. There might be a bit of a rabbit hole. The Birmingham Andy Edwards Shining connection. That could be a new theory. Forget the Wendy theory. Wendy theory is old news. That's so 2025. The trolls don't bother coming in. Yeah, I mean, come on in. I guess nobody cares, and that's good. Like, why would you care about this? So we got a troll trying to make sense of why he's the only troll making sense. Should I get livid over that? But yeah, in that documentary, it's called the Overlooked Part 2, The Shining Hotel, The Management. Because the name of the hotel in the movie was the Overlook Hotel. And it goes into a lot of the roots of the elite societies that enjoyed all those old-timey hotels that sprung up in the Western frontier back in the early part of the 20th century. The Harvey hotels were really first chain of businesses in America. I think I called it the first franchise, but no. I think McDonald's was the first franchise model business, but the first chain of businesses was the Harvey hotels, and they erected hotels all across uh, Western United States in all these parklands and wilderness areas for people to come visit. And there was some sketchy stuff going on, and there was connections back to the old motherland, specifically ties to societies that operated out of Birmingham, England, which is still, I guess, how do you put it, proudly boasted by people across the pond as being the birthplace of the modern industrial society. You know, industrialization really started in Birmingham, England. And Aaron and Melissa Dykes on TweekStream, they go into that angle a little bit, but there's probably a lot deeper to dig there. So I got nothing to get livid about, but yeah, who is Andy Edwards? And why is he so involved in The Shining? That could be a documentary there. I think we got something. Oh, yeah, I guess still no Mitch here. Unless, there can't be anybody lurking. There's only like a few people watching. But generally specific, he's got a whole army of people watching him. Let's see. Let's see who's watching generally specific. How many is generally specific got? 83 people watching. 83 people trying to convince him he shouldn't be friends with Finkel and that Ryder is a piece of shit degenerate. And I would agree with him. But I kind of have a soft spot for piece of shit degenerates. And I like Ryder. At least today. Tomorrow, maybe a different story. Link to the Canadian Prepper live stream. Is that going to give me a virus on my computer? Or that sounds a little sketchy. Canadian Prepper. I don't know. Sounds like an AI channel. Let's see what Prepper's up to. Come on, Canadian Prepper, don't let us down. What are you doing? What you got? What you got? What you got, Prepper? Let's check out your channel here. Ooh, 1.35 million subscribers. Maybe I'm going to have to do a little more livid streaming. Wow. Oh, he's into prepping. Yeah. Yeah, lots of interesting stuff here. Oh, he's a bit of a degenerate. Maybe let's see here. Let's see. Let's see if we know how to do this. Is this how? Yeah. Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's how we do it. Buffering. Yeah, I'm getting close to 1 million. All right, here's a Canadian degenerate stream. I mean, Canadian prepper. No, that's not it. What did I do? Dang. Let's try this again. Try this again. It's not what I planned to do. All right. Oh, I gotta sneeze. I had to sneeze. Then it stopped. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. He's got a website. Let's try this again. I screwed up. I forgot how to copy and paste. I forgot. See. So we'll try a copy and paste to Canadian degenerate here. So get rid of that. Get rid of that. If Lane's ADHD, then we're all ADHD. That's all I'm saying about that. There we go. Canadian prepper. So if you're Canadian and you're a prepper, you'll like this channel. No dead air. Well, yeah, you can edit out the dead air if you're not live. But if you're like me and you don't edit as you go, well, you get some dead air. Not as much as some channels. There's some channels where you get a lot of dead air. But for the most part, I just go on and on and on and on about more or less nothing. Drinking coffee, tweaking, and smoking cigarettes while waiting for my laundry. Almost. We all have our faults. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I mean, can't relate. Cannot relate to you, but I send you my best wishes that you work through whatever you're working through there, as far as faults go. I kind of don't have a grid for that. So. Well, welcome in USA Inc. Chatters are all excited to see you. He's got this Canadian Tweeka Preppa's channel is pretty popular. 1.35 million subs. So how does that work? Let's see this. Current event analysis, emergency preparedness, innovative gear reviews, discussions about the collapse of civilization. That doesn't sound good. And self-defense from a Canadian perspective. I've been around since 2014 doing this Canadian tweaking stuff. Canadian tweak prepping. 2,700 videos. Man, it's going to take a long time to watch all those videos. That's there's some binge watching you can get done there. If you're bored, go to Canadian Prepper. He's got 2,700 videos for you to enjoy. It talks about the end of civilization as we know it. That's what I want to hear about. That's the stuff that gets me excited. The end of civilization is a scam. Never heard of him or her. Canadian Prepper. Yeah, it's a prepper person. In true Canadian form, we'll just refer to people in the most uh, generic label possible. We'll just call them persons or peoples. I identify as an it. That's legit. True genius. Well, there you go. A genius on YouTube. What next? Just what the world needs. Yet another genius on YouTube. Dang. Cousin it. There we go. I don't even have any ingredients for tweaker burritos. I guess I can make air burritos. Anybody want an air burrito? I can make some air burritos. That's kind of a tweaker burrito, isn't it? Who's ready for an air burrito? Honey, can you make me something to eat? I'm waiting for a sandwich. Let's see if we can enjoy a nice air burrito. What do I do with my air burritos? Here. Here we go. Here's an added bonus. I wasn't going to do a Tweak a Burrito live stream, but here you go. It's an old time Tweaker recipe. This one goes back to the early days of Tweaker streaming. Well, all you need for this is a burrito shell. You roll it up nice and tight so that the air gets trapped in there. And you fold it over again, fold it over again, and the air is all trapped inside. And then you got, look at that, Tweak a Burrito a la air. But really, you're supposed to get chucked at you from the other room. No one with an IQ below 165. I don't think anybody with an IQ below 165 should be allowed to use the internet, personally. There you go, good old fashioned, just like Ogre used to make air burritos. That hits the spot. I think it hits the wrong spot. We'll save that for later. Mac's gonna enjoy helping me finish that. Air burritos. because I don't want to use up my sourdough for an air sandwich. I want to use that for a proper sandwich. But I was willing to sacrifice a burrito shell for a good old fashioned stick to your ribs air burrito. Ooh. Got some crunchy bits in there. So there you go, some bonus content. A little tweaker burrito recipe. I wasn't expecting that, so you guys got an extra feature. This should be a YouTube feature, I guess. You're not going to find that kind of instructional video just anywhere on the internet. I mean, any tweaker can get in front of a camera and eat a pomelo. But who's going to actually show you how to make a proper tweaker burrito, and in this case, an air burrito? Just like baby mama used to make. Let's see here. I think we're going to make some more coffee. I'm going to wash that air burrito down. Let's see if I can get that headliner pattern and do the whole ceiling of the RV in that same Challenger tweaker headliner pattern. I don't even know where you'd source that. Learn something new every day. Galloping in gourmet, absolutely. We aim to please here at the Brent Shimko YouTube channel. Informative, not much. Entertaining, rarely. Cutting edge, never. Tweaky, as much as possible. Although I feel I'm a little off my game. So you get what you get. I mean, you clicked on this, and nobody made you click on this. You're here for whatever reason. You have your reasons. That's a stick to your teeth kind of burrito. That's what that is. Nice and starchy, Shay. Yeah, I can't even check the level on my batteries. I mean, it's probably good. We're not gonna go forever here. Maybe 3 or 4 more coffees, and then we'll call it quits. Oh, actually, yeah. I was galloping to the bathroom this morning. I ate some low quality Canadian ramen noodles last night. And, there was something in that MSG powder. There probably wasn't enough MSG. It's just it was a mad dash. Let's just put it that way. It got a little dire. I came this close to getting livid. Or rather, my underwear was on the verge of being livid. Let's put it that way. Yeah, it was some tweaker ramen, that's for sure. Some tweaker. That's what I should do. That could be a tweaker burrito. Just ramen and burrito shell. Not too fancy, but just fancy enough for your average tweaker to appreciate that it requires a little effort to get a good outcome. Like, yeah, that's. I think I had a little bit too much crunchies in that last coffee. We're just gonna go back to the regular channel cup, the channel sanctioned cup. In case you haven't noticed, I still don't have any content to bring you. So if you're still sticking around, that's on you. That I have nothing to do with that. I got my fly. Okay, we're zipped. We're zipped. Sometimes I forget to zip. Sometimes I'll walk around for days just unzipped. That's the way we roll here. I can't even prep enough to zip my fly up. So Canadian Prepper's content is probably not going to do me a lot of good. Unless he's got a couple of videos about zipping. Power joke is still not running. I still got electrical problem to deal with. I still got no signal to the computer to crank it. So I covered this a few minutes earlier before you struggled your way in. I think it's the aftermarket wireless entry system. There's a Ford module, but as you know, Ford doesn't actually make any of its modules. They're made by other companies like Boeing and Northrop Grumman and stuff like that. But yeah, this thing here, there's a module that in the 2004, I believe that was installed at the dealership. It's got a Ford Motor Company, Motorcraft. It's got a Ford emblem on it, but it's not made by Ford. So that wouldn't have been installed at the factory for that model year. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's wired in the circuit between the computer and the sensors that tell the computer to engage. Made by China. I would guess it was made in Mexico. Back then, like the truck itself was made in America, in the Americas. But a lot of the components for that truck were made in China. And it actually is an international motor, Navistar, to add an extra layer of complexity. So Ford took a good international engine and then fortified it and basically turned it into a power joke. Motorcraft, yeah, Motorcraft. But I think I gotta look at the wiring going to that keyless entry module. Make sure everything there is going on, because I showed the wiring diagram earlier. From the ignition switch, your signal goes to the range selector, which is essentially your neutral safety switch, but that's internal. It's a digital safety switch, range selector. And if the computer doesn't see that the transmission is in neutral or park, it's not going to send a signal to the starter solenoid to run the starter motor to run or crank your engine. So no, there's no programmable key. It's got one of these analog keys, fully analog, no chips. But in between the range sensor from the transmission, the wireless remote module would be patched in there. And it was all running fine previously, but maybe something went kabloots since it's been parked here and I've been working on it. But like the mechanical side of things, it's all more or less done. all those injectors were resealed, and that part of it's all reassembled. Uh, so I've been going through the wiring harnesses, just making sure I've got no short to ground or bad grounds. Not really finding anything. It's not giving me a lot of clues, other than I'm not able to talk to the PCM with the old Autel. And the codes I'm getting, when I do get codes, are indicating it's just lack of communication, and it's seeing open circuits because the computer is not able to talk to all the sensors. So it's a pretty sketchy situation, but I hope I'm not overthinking it. It's possible I'm overthinking this, but I've checked all the relays and fuses that are involved, and there doesn't seem to be any issue with any of them. Uh, I've not been able to locate any short to ground in any of the places. I haven't checked all the pin connections on the computer to make sure uh, everything is talking, but I mean, the way the Ford PCM works, it's an integrated power control module and transmission control module, and that module talks to the fuel injection control module. And if the PCM is not happy, it's not going to tell the injectors to do anything. So it's just nothing. It's still just bricked. And so I'm not ready to condemn that PCM at this point. It could very well be the PCM, but I'm not. I would need definitive proof that that's the case. I do have a spare PCM. I think it's back in Manitoba, so I'll scoop up some extra parts. It's like the body control module is not involved in that starting circuit. It's that transmission range selector. The PCM and TCM are all in one unit. Yes. Yeah. So last week I was convinced it was the wiring from the transmission to the TCM that was causing the problem, but like I say, that part is not necessarily part of the starting circuit, other than the range selector going, from the ignition to the transmission through that sensor, back up to the solenoid, and the relay, starter relay, which is operated by the computer. If the computer doesn't see, if it can't see that it's in neutral or park, that's as far as you go. So I say patched into that circuit now is that wireless module. So that's going to be the next plan of attack to see if make sure that thing is grounded properly and all my wires are still intact, because as I explained earlier, I had to remove an aftermarket immobilizer, and so once I removed that, I reattached everything. But that's a couple of years ago. I don't know how I did it. I didn't do a sloppy job, but I didn't have the proper butt connectors, and I wasn't as detailed and meticulous as I am for doing wiring butt connections now. So some of it might have been a little bit substandard wiring that I had done to remove that immobilizer and then patch the ignition back through the wireless entry. But the other option is I could just remove that wireless system and eliminate it altogether. That could be it. I may be able to just bypass it easily and decide whether I want to keep that wireless system or not. Like I don't really use the remote starter. My feeling with a diesel is there's really no need to or not no need. I have no use for a remote starter, because typically I get in, turn the key, let the engine smooth out, like less than 30 seconds. I don't wait for it to warm up and then start driving. The diesel will warm up once you put a load on it and get up to operating temperature. Letting a diesel sit and idle for 15-20 minutes to warm it up, that's bad, bad, bad. Because you got diesel wash down the sides of the piston cylinders, down the cylinders, past the rings, and then you get a bunch of diesel in your oil. And then your oil loses its lubricity and ability to do what oil does, which is protect your engine. And so cold running a diesel is not good for it. So I hardly ever used that remote starter and the keyless power locks. Like, I rarely use those. So I might just pull that whole module out of there. Park neutral drive switch. Yeah, the neutral drive switch is inside the transmission. It's a power torque transmission, and they got extra fancy on that one and stuck that range selector inside the transmission. So it's a replaceable module, but you have to pull the pan off. But I'm going to be doing a fluid change anyway on the transmission. I just haven't. I was wanting to get the vehicle cranking because I'm not convinced that that range selector is bad. It could be, but I don't have any indication that that's the case. So, yeah, we still got some troubleshooting to do. He had a friend pass away, same model pickup. Well, I hope it wasn't the Ford that killed him, or his wife got so mad at him for owning a Ford Power Stroke that she just decided to unalive him. But I'm sure it's happened. I'm sure there's the odd spouse that says at some point, you know, it's either this truck or me, baby. Only one of us is walking out of here alive, kind of thing. All fuses and relays seem to be in A1 shape. So unless there's something I missed, which I don't think I have, there's no blown fuses. I mean, I guess technically a relay could have failed, but if the PCM isn't telling these relays to turn on, you're not going to know that anyway. Sorry for your loss. Yes. Not trying to make loss of somebody's dying. They have their reasons for dying, but got sick with an infection. Went to the hospital, and he had a big heart. Only 38. Well, that's messed up. Well, hopefully the Ford didn't cause the enlargement of the heart. I don't know if there's a connection. Correlation is not necessarily cause. Your two best friends were twins. Well, that's pretty amazing. Very interesting. Love wine, good old cold starts. All right, I think part of that is supposed to be an English sentence. Love me some good old cold starts. Love me some good old cold starts, yeah. Oh, whatever. I mean, this thing has a block heater. You can plug it in if it's too cold. And what I've found a trick on these power smokes is you let those glow plugs cycle 3 times when it's really cold. And on the 3rd time, then you crank it over and it pretty much starts every time. That's just that's when it's really, really cold, like 40 below. But other than that, if it's plugged in, the way that diesel is going to run properly is to get the cylinder head temperature up to temperature, and you're not going to do that at an idle. And so you end up with a lot of unburnt diesel if the cylinder head is still cold. I mean, the glow plugs will get the cylinder head warm enough to start it up, but at idle, you're not going to get the engine temperature you need for the diesel to fully combust, or to get as much combustion as possible. And what ends up happening is that diesel sticks to the side of the cylinder and eventually makes its way down into the crankcase, and it dilutes your oil. So I think at the risk of repeating myself, I'll just repeat myself again. So that's not good. It's not good for your oil, not good for your engine. So glow plugs are the only thing you ever had to replace. I had a blessed truck. In my experience, all kinds of stuff needs replacing eventually. But it's a good truck. It's just not running at the moment. So we'll keep working on that. We'll keep working on it. I'd like to be able to take the truck back home, just because it's more comfort and more room. And if I decide to haul anything back with me, I'll have room in the truck bed to haul stuff. But I don't have a whole shitload of stuff to bring back. But worst case scenario, I go get a rental, hopefully a Charger with a tweaky headliner. If they offer me a Charger and it's just got a plain headliner, I'll probably ask them if they have something else. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Oh yeah, there's coffee waiting here. We got coffee. What happened to that air burrito? That was good. If you want a bite to air burrito and coffee, but yeah, on this thing, I'm getting codes that just indicate the PCM is not happy. No, I live where I live, when I live, all the time. I'm currently in British Columbia, Canada, up here in the 51st state. And I've been here since the beginning of December. After making the journey from the cold Arctic wasteland of Manitoba, which is 3 provinces to the east of me, that way. And so in the time I've been here, there's some mail to go collect, and a driver's license renewal I got to take care of, and insurance on the vehicles I got to deal with. So I think I'm going to do that all with the Manitoba stuff, and then decide when and if I'm going to switch that over to the British Columbia system. So, but the plan is to find a place here to settle down more or less full time. There might be some traveling involved. There's nothing in particular I'm looking to do. They're supposed to be making plans to do some meetups in the Pacific Northwest, but I can't say when that's going to happen. So I was hoping that we could have been making some plans already, but then it went and snowed, and the power smoke is no longer smoking at the moment. So I'll have to do the power smoking in the meantime. But yeah, the plan was to find a place in British Columbia and start start making things happen here, whatever that means, whatever that looks like. So at this point, the plan was for the winter just to kind of just kick back and do not much, which is exactly what I've been doing. And by not much, I mean pest people on YouTube and working on my truck. So, but yeah, it's a nice kind of sleepy little town here. Try you some Alberta beef. I've been pretty happy with the Manitoba beef that I got to enjoy back home. There's a lot of cattle country there, a lot of dairy farms, a lot of pig barns, a lot of ranches. So I don't think there's anything special about Alberta beef than the marketing of it. So I'm more of the feeling get to know your farmer, find out who's raising the kind of animals you'd want to eat, and then go tell them next time you cut one of those bad boys up, let me know because I want to fill up my freezer. So that was my pattern back home, was find farmers that had a half or a quarter animal or a whole animal, and then get you some meats that you feel good about. So you're helping your farmer. Your farmer is doing a good job. Reward him for his efforts. But in general, Alberta beef, Manitoba beef, Saskatchewan. Well, there's not. There's some cattle operations in Saskatchewan. There's cattle operations around here. There's plenty of local beef around here. I'm right at the kind of the northern edge of the frontier wilderness, and then to the south of me, you run into the Okanagan Valley, all the way down through say northeastern Washington. So kind of high desert, but ideal ranch land. Lots of ranches around here. They always talking about Alberta beef. Yeah, go for the Alberta beef, but I'm not saying it's no good. It's just, it is what it is. I mean, I've talked a lot about the cattle industry and marketing. I mean, the big thing in the industry is pushing that Black Angus AAA beef, and nothing wrong with Black Angus, but it's no better than any other beef necessarily as far as the quality of the meat. It's a marketing strategy. The Black Angus breed is good for the industry. It has a good feed to weight ratio, meaning that it takes less feed to get an animal up to butcher size, and then they peak out at a certain size. Not too big, not too small. Like on the small end of things, you get a Dexter cow, which is kind of like a midget cow. It's like a quarter of the size of a regular cow. Like a full-grown Dexter would be, 500 pounds. Whereas a Black Angus carcass, you might get 1,000 pounds out of that sucker, maybe 900, 800 pounds. Once you cut it up, a Dexter cow carcass, you're maybe looking at 250 pounds, like maybe. And at the other end, you got breeds like Simmental and Charlet. Like those can get pretty massive. Now, for the meat cutting side of things, it's nice to have a standardized product. And so if you've got truckloads of carcasses that are all 1,000 pounds, that's and you cut them in half, so you got a half a carcass coming in at 500 pounds or less. Well, that's easier to handle than a 700-pound side of beef, which you get from some of the bigger breeds. So, so it's good for the meat packing plants and that side of things. It's good for the farmers because the Black Angus is pretty low maintenance. It's reliable for easy calving. You know, the farmer doesn't have to go out and help a lot. Those calves will just drop. They come out pretty easy. The they're hardy, meaning they can withstand all kinds of environmental pressures, whether it's cold conditions or dry conditions or hot conditions. So they're all around good breed for the industry as a whole, and that's why they demand top dollar for Angus beef. But it to the consumer, you'd have to go around and see what actually fits your flavor. So, from my experience, the dairy breeds are actually the most succulent, delectable kinds of animals to cut up. But a Jersey cow, a Holstein, those are two breeds. They're not meant for outdoors and easy calving. Like I used to work in a dairy, and those Holstein calves, I mean, they just didn't want to come out. Either they'd have a head that's like a melon head cryptid, and you'd have to pull them out, and so it's not wasn't an easy calving kind of situation, and they require a high level of feed to get them up to the size you want. But if you get your hands on some dairy cow steers or even bulls and castrate them and raise them, you'll have a real nice finished product. Those dairy breeds, you know, world taste tests from like they do these not competitions, but people who know stuff about cuisine, they'll do taste testing, and the Holstein and Jersey breeds actually rate higher from a flavor and dining experience standpoint than even the premium beef breeds. So, but it's just not practical to raise those animals as beef animals. You get what I'm saying? Like another nice thing about the Black Angus is the bulls have a very good temperament. They're whereas a Jersey bull is they basically once they get the testosterone going, they turn into freaking retards. Those things will kill you, man. They're like cattle demons. Those Jersey bulls. Same with Holstein bulls. They can be pretty cantankerous. Yeah, Okanagan monster. They're all over the place here. So yeah, just giving you a little bit of intel on the beef side of things. But yeah, if I was still back home on the hobby farm, I'd be looking for Holstein steers or Dale calves and raise them as beef animals, even though they're a dairy breed. That's the way to go as a hobby farmer. And back home, we did have a Holstein cow. She had a calf, ended up selling. We had a couple of Jersey cows that calved out. Well, no, I only had two. I got two bull calves out of my one Jersey cow, and we castrated those, but ended up selling those because sold the house and the property. So they weren't ready for butchering, so just got rid of them. But as a backyard beef producer, if there is such a thing, like we had 5 acres, so that was enough that you can get a little micro feed operation and get yourself some day-old calves or castrated weaned steers, what have you, and then raise those dairy cows, cattle. I had a buddy that used to get mad and talk about butchering cows. Like, you don't butcher the cows, you butcher the steers. Because a cow, of course, is the female, and a steer is a castrated male, and a bull is an uncastrated male. But that would have been my model is to get some Holstein males and raise them as meat animals, and not worry about calving, like having to deal with breeding, a bunch of breeding stock. It's You can go that route, but you need kind of a lot of infrastructure and systems in place. Whereas to feed a bull calf up to butcher weight, I mean, you just need a good source of feed, water, shelter, and away you go. So if you're not interested in the milk, because the other thing too, a dairy cow is going to give you milk. A beef cow, you're not that little girl. She's not going to let you sit there and milk her. Like the beef breed cows, they're not interested in you touching their titties. They're not going to do that. They're going to have nothing to do with that. So if you want fresh milk, you got to go with a dairy breed and keep breeding that cow, and you'll get calves, obviously. But the lactation requires that you breed them every couple of years. But I mean, if you're only getting a calf every other year, depending on how how you got your breeding program scheduled, that's a long time between animals to butcher. So you can go buy yourself a couple of bulls, castrate them, or steers, and then just raise those. You don't have to worry about calving. You don't have to worry about breeding stock. You don't have to worry about any of that. So that would have been the route to go going forward. But yeah, so we're just surrounded by monsters here. And what is it, 3:30 already? I gotta go check on my laundry, so I think we'll shut this one down. We'll reconvene at another time, hopefully before I head back. Hopefully Triple K. Wasn't there a Triple H? Yeah, Triple K and a Triple H. Maybe Triple K find some Alberta beef. And yeah, do yourself a ribeye stream. I'll watch that. I'd watch a ribeye stream. I think I have one ribeye left. I think I still have one ribeye left, but all my wood is wet. But yeah, it's time to do laundry, and we'll check in on you guys next time, or you can check in on me, or whatever. You guys know what to do. So stay tweaky.